Good morning and welcome. Happy Saturday. This is your early morning intuitive guidance here every day about this time, same bat channel, to bring you something to ponder on, think about, talk to others about, etc. And today's is certainly that. And we had this card a while ago, but something moved me to include the introduction, and there's some really cool stuff in the introduction. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum. I am a clinical psychologist and holistic coach, and I have been doing your early morning intuitive guidance for the last, it's got to be 12 years plus, somewhere in that ballpark. I should keep track better, shouldn't I? Anywho, this is an opportunity for you to take a pause in your day and set some intention and really connect with yourself, ground into who you are. Good morning to whomever just popped on. Glad you are here. It's Barb. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. And once one of you finds me, then usually more of you find me. There's Miss Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. So I love this card deck because it really, truly is a deep dive into humanity and beyond. And beyond. So I'm excited to share this with you today. And those of you, I don't know how many of you have this particular deck. It's the Wild Harmonic deck by Gabriel J. Marihugh. YouTube not working. Well, it hasn't told me that yet. So we'll have to see what it coughs up. If it isn't YouTube, it's LinkedIn. Facebook shows up. I have no idea. Come on, you guys. Let's get it together here. So what I hope with this card is that the introductory part really sets a tone for us. Yes, waiting to see how much ice we get. Yeah, my sister's coming back with my dad today, so I may be sliding across the pavement on my butt to throw salt out to melt everything before he tries to get into the house. Yeah, I'm done with winter. It can go away now. Let's be done. So let's start with some breath and let's start with some tap. But first, let's start with my new shirt, Chico's, for I think $3.99 at St. Vincent de Paul. Thank you, St. Vincent de Paul, for outfitting me so classy. I'm quite excited with this one. I spent yesterday, quite a bit of yesterday, cleaning up at the warehouse, and I had an idea. So in one room, we have it's got to be 6 card tables set up in sets of 2, all crunched together with this gigantic tablecloth over it, and it's filled. I mean, filled with crystal. And I decided, well, maybe that's getting a little boring. Let's do something a little more exciting. It's probably been that way, I don't even know, quite a few years, 5 years. So I took some wedges of the crystal out and interspersed it with colored glass. So it looks like this amazing crystal rainbow. So there's a red section and the crystal section and a blue section and a crystal section and a green section and a gold section and a purple section. And purple section's a little bit lame, but the rest of them are pretty kick butt. So I was generating creativity yesterday. It was quite fun. So, and then last night, to reward my efforts, last night, one of the women who's been coming and buying a slew of stuff every time she comes, sent a message and said, "Hey, I'm ready to come visit again." And I'm like, all right, now I just got to clean up all the porcelain I have sitting all over the floor because I'm waiting for a vacuum. And then I can move some shelving units and pile the porcelain back up and away we'll go. So that was fun. That was a good time. So tapping. Now we'll tap and take some breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Setting the intention, we're ready to receive this message wholly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting go of everything that would interfere with us taking on this message. Fully, completely, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm ready to receive. So again, we have the Wild Harmonic deck, by Gabriel J. Marihugh. And here's the cover of the book. And first I'm going to read the introduction because I was talking to one of my accountability buddies yesterday, Bobby, and I was saying, I'm feeling the need for something magical to move beyond the day to day a little bit more and have something that feels awe inspiring. So here it is. Here it is. Ask and you shall receive. So take a breath, let it go. And here is Gabriel's forward. The dawn of the waking dreamer is always upon us. Timelessness is always ready for us to return. We are not created, but creation itself, capital C. If one of you would put that in the feed, I would love that. We are not created, but creation itself. As we reclaim our imaginations, we turn back to the dreaming. As we heal our wounds of severance, we can let go of the trappings of false certainty. How many people do you see slogging through right now with false certainty? They are sure that what they believe is correct, and there's no room in there for any discussion. We let go of the trappings of false certainty, return the earth to our bodies, and step ever more into our growth. We need not rise as one, but each rise as our own, and the one, capital O, will emerge from us. Think about that for a moment. The one will emerge from us. We are the one. To grasp the subtle realms of energy in our everyday lives, we must cultivate what can be called dreaming awareness. As we become more and more aware of this play of subtle energies in our lives, inside and out, we must rise to meet such nuance with equally nuanced responses. Doesn't that sound lovely? Doesn't that just sound lovely? As we're here right now in the midst of slogging through some pretty dense, heavy, negative, fear-provoking stuff, let's hear this again. As we become more and more aware of this play of subtle energies in our lives, inside and out, we must rise to meet such nuance with equally nuanced responses. Now, what's called for there? A shutting down of this external noise, less noise, so we can actually hear the subtleties, feel the subtleties. That's why walking in nature is so valuable. We're present with those subtleties. When we're doom scrolling, when we're doing all the things, we're not nearly as present. Good morning to those of you who are popping on whose names aren't rolling. Glad you are here. We're not nearly as present as we, I'm going to use a strong word here, must be in order to pick this up. In order to pick this up. Though few would know it from appearances, we must become a living work of art in order to ally ourselves with the creativity of which we are made. The vast majority of the societies that have raised us have done a fine job of leaving out orientations to this more amorphous side of our being, what I call the worlds of the waking dreamer. And think about that. What's happening right now? Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. What's happening right now? The shutting down of all of the creativity. The shutting down of the creativity. That is a master step in the plan. We need to do something with this. We need to do something with this and about this. In many cases, they have even gone so far as to actively dismiss or even villainize this creativity to such a degree that we are inclined to avoid anything to do with it. So instead, we must embrace it. We must embrace it. For this reason, reclaiming our dreaming awareness takes some effort. As there are fewer elders to offer us guidance as we progress, we must also rely heavily on ourselves for course correction. This is something that requires immense amounts of maturity to do successfully. That word, maturity. In the world of the waking dreamer, it is all too easy to become distracted, even trapped by our own self-reflections, leaving us caught in a level of growth that we defend by pointing the finger elsewhere. Sound familiar to anybody? This deck in this book set are intended to be a helpful companion on your journey as a waking dreamer. It is not intended to replace elders or other teachers, but rather to encourage, nourish, and reinforce your waking dreaming. My hope is that it provides you with further perspectives. I love that word, perspectives, language, and inspiration to develop your dreaming awareness ever onward. My aim is to contribute to the reawakening of our dreaming culture and to help those who are doing so themselves refine their path with what I have found refines mine. So, what a radical move here, right? In the face of all of this shutdown of the creative, this is a really radical move. Using this deck today, a radical move. So he says, this takes a maturity seldom seen in the realms of logic and reason, though it is spotted there from time to time. Maturity is complexity. So breaking things down into simpler and simpler, we lose the complexity. And that complexity has it's not complicated. Those are two different things. But the complexity has goes far beyond logic and reason. Maturity has complexity. Maturity is harmony. Maturity is inclusive of the known, unknown, and unknowable. Let that one rattle around a little bit. Maturity is inclusive of the known, unknown, and unknowable, of the gross and the subtle, the proven and the uniquely perceived. Maturity is allowing of perspective and discerning of action. It is the path and the fruit of walking it. Maturity is the body, mind, and spirit of the waking dreamer. The dawn of the waking dreamer is always upon us. The gateway to it has but one word set in stone above the door: choose. So here we are choosing. Here we are choosing. Here is what we've chosen, or what's chosen us for today. That may look familiar to you because out of this humongous deck, here's this card again. And as I always say, when something shows up more than once, perk your ears up, especially your intuitive ears, and pay attention. All right? So this is the Heir of Air, Chaotic Return. And again, these cards, when we do a larger reading, when I do a larger reading for somebody, these cards play off each other just so amazingly. When we pull a single card, there's nothing off of which it can play, but it still has a message we need to pay attention to. So chaotic return, Heir of Air. And if you look closely, you'll see that this is an impossible figure. Things will recede and then you'll get to an intersection. You go, wait a minute, that can't be right. Heir of Air. As the interconnected intelligence meets itself, the impossible is realized. The impossible is realized. So here's the meditation part. Take a breath. Let it go. Leaps of logic, quantum jumps, unlikely shifts in perspective approach, and the unconditional allowance of everything as it is. A card calling me into the deepest mysteries of the interconnectedness of all things. This is the invitation to go deep. I love this invitation. Others may avoid it, but I love this. It is at once a defiance of reason and a nurturing of true knowing. So there's a difference between intellectual reason and heart and soul knowing. Opening the heart is opening to the radical. If I have ideas of what it means to have an open heart, they are shattered as I find my own way. What leads from one thing to another is but temporary alignment. And again, the image that comes to me with that is Hogwarts, where all the staircases move. You used to be able to get from here to there. Now you've got to go from here to here to here to here to get to there. Yeah, it's but a temporary alignment. And the absurd is smiling behind it all, just waiting its turn to play at being the rational. Think about when the absurd becomes the rational. Hmm. So here's the inquiry question. If many of you could put this in the feed, I would be eternally grateful. Here's the inquiry. What am I keeping myself from doing because it seems irrational, even though I sense it will be worthwhile? What am I keeping myself from doing because it seems irrational? It seems irrational to the logical mind. Probably is irrational. How lovely. Let's go with it. Even though I sense it will be worthwhile. So, what comes to me there is my other question I love to ask myself, and I love to ask my clients. And when they see that look on my face and they know the question's coming, they're like, oh shit. What are you pretending not to know? What are you pretending not to know? Right? So, what am I keeping myself from doing because it seems irrational, even though I sense it will be worthwhile? So, that's what I'll be pondering during my writing session right after I'm done talking to y'all, because it does. Any of the rest of you have that feeling of being on the cusp? Things are unfolding in impossible ways. When we step forward from our heart and soul instead of our head, different things are allowed. Different things present themselves. Portals open up and stuff becomes, yes, there we go. Yes, exactly. Right on the cusp. And so we want to be receptive to this. We want to be receptive. You may have some inklings of discomfort. That's okay. We want to get out of that comfort zone where we keep ourselves complacent and stuck. We want to be on that edge of, oh boy, this is getting uncomfortable. Breathe, breathe, allow. This is interesting. When you get to the end of your life, do you want to look back and say, yeah, I played it safe the whole time? How boring. Or do you want to be able to say, yeah, I stuck my toe over the edge quite a few times and amazing things opened up? Amazing things opened up. If you look back at your life and you look at the things that you now consider amazing, how many of them required that you stick your toe over the edge a little bit? I'm going to guess that it was all of them. So I'd love for you to spend some time thinking about this chaotic return, this air of air, this impossibility. When you look at that, the impossibility of this, yet here it is. Here it is. So have an awesome Saturday. We'll see you again tomorrow on Easter Sunday. Know that you are capable of far more than you think you are, and that we can play with this and have some fun with this. It doesn't have to be drudgery. Have some fun. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.